All right, perfect. So we're gonna get started. We'll do some Q&A here in a few minutes, but I wanted to kind of bring a fresh mindset for August and kind of lead the call. Excuse me. Start the call off with this here. So here's what I wanted to kind of talk about. I know we've got people in the program who've been in this for, gosh, I think Aaron's has been in it for a year or maybe more. At this point, I know Sean's been in it for probably close to a year, at least 9 or 10 months, right? Like Jason, I think you've been in here for a long time as well. But then I know we've also got guys that are brand new to the program and kind of just started. So I want to bring a fresh mindset for August and just kind of talk about a couple of things. So I recently came across the definition of gritty hope, which I want to share with you guys. Because I really liked it. Okay, so this is basically regular hope versus gritty hope. Okay, so regular hope basically says, man, my efforts may or may not change the future. Right, so that's regular hope. It's like, well, we're doing some stuff. I hope it works. I hope it changes the future. I hope it grows the church. I hope it develops leaders. Right, but you really believe that your efforts may or may not change the future. But gritty hope is basically the belief that our effort today will 100% change the future, and I take full responsibility for that. Right? So hope is basically a mindset and an attitude. The difference between regular hope, right? Well, what we're doing, it might grow the church, it might work, it might not, right? Versus gritty hope, which is basically just the full hope of, man, our efforts 100% are going to change the future of our church, of our ministry, and I take full responsibility for that. So that mindset and attitude, right? There's basically two things that you control: activity and attitude, right? So activity of in this specific case, right, of spending time connecting with people, sending the audio prayers, calling the planner visits, taking time to actually just connect with people, right? Developing your leaders, doing more one-on-one stuff, especially with everything that's going on with the pandemic, right? A lot of people are working from home. We have more time to connect with people. It doesn't mean you're not doing a million other things, but we can make the time, even if it's just carving out 15, 20, 30 minutes a day to just connect with people online and have authentic conversations, right? Like it literally doesn't cost anything to go into ManyChat and go pull up some of the people that you've talked to in the past and literally just send them a one-on-one message. Like you don't have to use a broadcast or anything like that. You can literally just go into your prayer requests or go into your plan your visits, people that have signed up to plan a visit, and just contact them, right? Just one-on-one, just say, hey, John, man, like, I know you had reached out to the church here a little while back. How's everything going, man? Right? And just taking time to connect with people. If you just, I just want to challenge you with this. I wonder what would happen if, in addition to actually sending the audio prayers, right, and working the system itself, the audio prayers and calling the planner visits, but what would happen if you made a challenge to just connect with 5 people a day? Right, you just said, okay, I'm just going to go into ManyChat and I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning. And maybe just every day you just connected with 5 people and just reached out, and just said, hey, what's up? This is Pastor Chris. Man, you'd reached out and asked me to pray for you here a little while back. I just want to connect with you, man. How's it going? How's it going? Right. And just have conversations about life, about marriage, about kids, about, where they're at, and just kind of get in there. I guarantee 30 days from now, you wouldn't recognize the amount of personal ministry that you're doing. It would change the entire scope of everything that you're doing in about 30 days, right? So that's activity and attitude, having the attitude that everything that we're doing right now is 100% going to change the future of our church, and I take full responsibility for that. And then literally just having the activity to back that up. So, okay, I'm going to connect with 5 people a day. That's it. Right. And so if they don't text back right away, no problem. Send out those 5 messages and then wait, right? Probably by tomorrow, they're going to have written back, and you can go in there and reconnect and then, send 5 more. But I wonder what would happen if you connected with 5 people a day for the next 30 days. Right. So, the other thing is just the idea of being tough, right? Being gritty, having grit. So there's some synonyms for tough. Is durable, strong, resilient, resistant, sturdy, rugged, firm, solid, substantial, sound, stout, indestructible, unbreakable, hard, rigid, stiff, inflexible, toughened. I like this one. It says hard-wearing, long-lasting, heavy-duty, well-built, made to last. Okay, there's just some synonyms for tough. Man, I think it's time right now that we as the church, as the body of Christ, man, like we just have to get tough. We're in the middle of a global pandemic that nobody saw coming. We're in this kind of weird in-between time where a lot of the country has opened up, and then some states have kind of frozen. Some churches can meet, some can't. Some churches can meet, but have chosen to go back to online either because of the COVID outbreak in their church or in their town or their state. And we're just in this weird things. We're just in this spot where we just have to be gritty, and we have to be tough, right? And so I think right now that's a really good word for a lot of us, right? Because things aren't easy, but man, we're freaking Christians. Like we're pastors and church leaders. We do hard things. Right. And so just embracing the thing of like, of course it's hard. Nobody said ministry was going to be easy. Nobody said growing a church was going to be easy. Nobody said leading a group of people would be easy, but we're Christians. We freaking do hard things. Right. So the last thing I wanted to kind of share with you is just the idea of hard versus strong. Right. So having a gritty hope, not a regular hope. Right. Just being tough and understanding what that means to be tough. And then finally, just the difference between being hard versus strong, right? So I think there's a lot of people in this world who are strong, but you got to be hard, right? And so if you guys have ever studied the Navy SEALs, I read like every Navy SEAL book that I can get my hands on, especially if it's about Navy SEAL snipers. I just like have like just a warm, fuzzy place in my heart for Navy SEAL snipers. So like American Sniper, books like that, I love them. And one of the things that gets me every single time I study, you start reading about buds and stuff, and you read about these guys, when they go through buds, like, imagine what it's like to go through months and months of Navy SEAL training. What's crazy is not all, like there's a lot of strong guys that show up, but strong guys ring out on the first day, right? Strong guys don't make it. It's hard guys who make it. Right? It's the guys that just say, man, no matter what comes at me, I will not quit. I'm going to keep going. And so a lot of times you'll have this dude who's 5'7" and weighs $150, and he'll beat out some dude who's 6'4", 250 and carved out of wood. But it's because the dude who's 5'7" only weighs 150 pounds. He's hard while the other guy's strong. Right? And so strong's great, and that's awesome, especially if you're going to the gym. But man, we're living in these times where we have to be hard, just like those Navy SEALs who literally just say, man, we're not going to quit no matter what happens, no matter what the numbers look like on Sunday morning, no matter what our live stream numbers look like, no matter what the crap happens with COVID, right? The enemy is trying to take out the church. It's not going to work for people like us. We have to be hard. We have to be tough, not strong, not just having a regular hope. Well, maybe this is going to work out. No, owning it and say, man, we're going to be tough. We're going to be hard. Okay, we're Christians. We do hard things. And everything that we do right now that we decide to put our hand to, right? The Bible says everything you put your hand to will prosper. Everything we put our hand to right now will 100% grow the church moving forward and set us up. And so I just say, man, let's punch the devil in the face, and let's make it hard for people to go to hell from our cities. And let's just go all in on being tough and doing the things that people, that everyone else isn't willing to do. And I think that starts with just saying, man, for the month of August, I'm going to connect with 5 people online through Messenger every single day. All right. That's it. I'll get off my preaching stump here, but that's just kind of been on my heart today. And I want to share that with you guys just to kind of get this started. So having that gritty hope, man, being tough and not being strong, but being hard, right? Like, there's a saying like in football, it's you give them something hard to hit. Right. So I was a fullback back in the day, right? Like fullbacks take it up the middle and just get freaking pounded. Right. But my favorite thing to do is to lower my head and just take out the linebacker. Right. It's like, okay, like he thinks he's going to take me out, but what if I bowl him over? I remember like that's one of the best feelings in the world. That safety comes rushing in and I put a hurting on that safety. Right. And then he's on the ground twitching afterwards and I'm standing over him. That's what's up. And they say, hey, give him something hard to hit. Right. So someone's coming in, they think they're going to take you out. But man, you lower your head, you lower shoulder, you give them something hard to hit. Boom, we got to be tough. So, all right, that's my word for today. Let's be tough. So, man, let's open it up. Do we have? I always like to start with stories. Does anybody have any cool stories about stuff that's going on right now? Anyone that you've been connecting with through the prayer ads or Discover Your Purpose, the 21-Day Marriage Challenge, any of the other ads that wants to just unmute and kind of share?
Hey, Chris, this is Doug. We're just 2 days into it. So we've gotten 16 responses, 8 on the bot, 8 on the comments, responded all of them. Love the audio prayers. That's been going great.
Awesome.
And then last night we had a non-ad respondent that just showed up and did a plan your visit and called them back. And, it was a voicemail, but still,
yeah,
I doing this the last 2 days just has reminded me, when we sow seeds, the Lord determines the harvest, but we got to keep the seeds going out. Right. And, so that was, I'm pumped. And then we're in 21 days of prayer. So we've been calling out their names every night during the prayer gatherings and not all their needs, but their names. And so that's been pretty cool.
Awesome. I love it, Doug, man. Thanks for sharing that, bro. Yeah. 2 days into it, I was looking at your numbers last night. They look awesome, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
And love it. And I planned your visit last night. That's great, man. Keep going. I'm telling you, it's funny. And maybe I sound like a broken record, but I believe we can change the world with this. I mean, just connecting with people online right now, where people are at. I just believe that continuing to pray for people and just connect with people, man, we can change the world from here. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Anybody else got anything they want to share? Anyone you've been connecting with?
Chris, I'll share. Yeah, man. So we've been able to really connect with a lot more people just through filtering them, even through Facebook groups. So we've been we've been also, obviously planning for Sundays as well. We want them to watch the service, but we've also been moving them into Facebook groups as well, and having a lot more community that way. That sometimes people miss the service online because we're still online only. And so kind of like, well, what if we just not just invited them to a service? Because the point isn't to get them to watch a service. The point is to build a relationship with them so we can give them Jesus, so we can disciple them. So if engagement is the goal, at least for us, what I've noticed is we kind of bypassed the step and then went back to the step. They've come on a Sunday, but sometimes after being connected relationally to a group. And so we've kind of been doing it a little bit backwards, but the point is it's ministry still happening. People are getting saved. We had 2 people from the Facebook ads click next to give their life to Christ at service on Sunday. And sometimes you're looking for a raised hand in a service, right? Well, somebody texting next or commenting next is that on a Sunday. And there have been a few weeks where we haven't had it and you're like, man, it's kind of like, it sucks because you want it. But then when you have it, you want to do everything you can to get that back again. And so we figured out ways to move the needle through engagement and just relationship and build that equity with people, because you have to earn the right to speak into their lives. What I've noticed is that you can pray for people, they'll receive your prayer, but oftentimes prayer gives you a gateway to be able to speak into their lives. And then once they start learning to trust you more, then they'll start opening up to different channels and different content as well. So that's just my 2 cents.
That's so good, man. That's so good. Okay, so Aaron, talk a little bit more about. Doug was saying, he'd love to hear a little bit more about how you do it in terms of your regulars versus new people in the Facebook groups. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, the way that we've positioned ourselves is, we use a texting app for our communication to our church and to our members. So we've got a kind of member oriented, because, I don't know if you guys, we do it in kind of different types of groups. We got our dream team group, which is our volunteer team, kind of core team, if you will, for the church. And then we got our everyone text blast, people who are part of the church, members of the church, if you will, they fill that connection card. And then we've got our online group, which is our Facebook group. So we utilize our Facebook group as anybody can join, doesn't matter. We're going to throw content. We're going to throw a bunch of stuff. So our Facebook group is like our big circle, if you will. And the reason why is if we're connecting through people through Facebook, through Messenger, then why not make that the largest field by which everybody's going to come into? I think a lot of times people want to look at Facebook groups and kind of like, oh, you can't come into this group because this is a private group. Well, okay, but where is somebody going to come into and enter into engagement if all you've done is itemize these groups into little small? I'd rather have a large group, a big group where everybody, everybody can come and everybody is welcome. You got to think that a Facebook group being your big net. It's your online engagement. This is your pool. This is your Sunday morning, man. This is that. And we've had people get saved from the group as well. So you got to think in terms of how, think in terms of different streams of communication, how that works. That makes sense?
Love it. Love it. Doug, do you have any more questions specifically about how he's doing it?
No, that's great, Aaron, because we've actually been wrestling with our group. We've started, it's kind of been just an internal group, but we do all the same things with texting that you do. So I love the idea of just making this, y'all come and we can just start adding people. I guess the only follow-up content are you putting out there? We're probably pretty bad at putting content in our group. So curious on that.
Yeah, well, we put a ton of content into it. I have a lady, honestly, I have some people who do small groups through our group. And I'm like, hey, why don't you go live in the group on a Monday night and see who shows up? And so we have regulars that are fun. Anybody can do it, but I'm like, they're already there. Why do I have to try to get them into a Zoom meeting when they're already a part of this group in the first place? If they want to show up, they're going to show up. There are people who show up to another person's because they like their flavor, and if other people want to join, they can. And obviously this is not, you got to create some parameters around what that looks like. But allow your leaders to lead inside the group because the group is the church. So allow people to lead. It doesn't have to be just you. Find engaging content that's going to just engage them. Sometimes we'll do stupid content, like we just did a meme drop yesterday. Hey, let's have a conversation through memes or through GIFs, and it was hilarious. So fun. We had just people just comment, just whatever. And all it is just trying to have fun. So you want to be able to mix that up, and we use the page and we use the groups as well. I would just say find a strategy and stick to it. But one of the best decisions that I've made was allowing our leaders to lead in the group, to go live in the group. And that way, guess what? I don't feel the need to always have to go in there to do anything. Now they're getting pastored, things are happening, relationships are forming. And the way that I look at that is that really is the church that's happening weekly. So
you just set up like a regular Facebook group. How did you get people invited into that group, Aaron?
Well, we actually encourage our people to be inviters, right? So one of the things that right now they can't serve on a Sunday in children's church and all that stuff. So basically I ask our church to do three things. I say, listen, what you want to do is we want you to pray, we want you to give, and we want you to reach. Those are three things you can do. We're also in 21 days of prayer as well. So we're really involved in that. And then we're saying you reach by sharing and you reach by serving. Like the easiest way that you can. So it used to be, it's just all in the language with what you say, because I tell them, it used to be you had to invite somebody to church or pick them up or whatever, hoping that they will come. Now all you got to do is press a button. How easy is it to click a link? And you never know who is one invitation away from life change. So you send a text to your church, say, hey, listen, I want you to invite somebody this week to be part of the group. Here's the link. I want you to invite one of your friends to be part of the Facebook group. I want to invite you one of your friends to get on the live stream this week. I want you to invite. So don't just try to do all the work from the church externally. Do the work asking your members, asking your people to contribute, because they have so much further reach than what you guys do. And so if we think exponentially, they're not doing anything right now anyways. They're at home and they're on social media. So why not leverage that and ask them to be a part of what's happening? And when their friend gives their life to Christ, because they invited them to a group, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I'm like, awesome. Yeah. So then you highlight that and you share that story and you tell that again, and you lean and say, this person came to Christ because this person texted a link to them. Wouldn't you like that to be your friend? Hey guys, let's go make another story together. And so you go in and you preach vision to them. Man, it just blows up exponentially through that. So
that's pretty cool. So you live stream your service in the group. I just do it on our page, but you create a specific group and you live stream in that group as well.
We don't live stream through the group. but we have people. So what happens in the group is people do live streams in the group. So they'll go live in the group. They'll have a topic, or they'll do a Bible plan, right? So they'll pick a Bible plan on the Bible app, whatever it is, 5-6 weeks. And every Monday night at 7 o'clock, I have a lady named Marissa who goes in and goes live and does that. And we have about anywhere from 10 to 12 people jump on from the group. And so that's a small group, and they're there every single Monday, right? In the Facebook group. And what we found is I like Zoom, but what I found is that moving people that are already existing in the net of Facebook groups and just getting them into the group and then going live there is a lot easier for us than trying to get them on another platform and another app that they don't have. It seems like it's a lot easier for us to get people involved, joining and engaging. So
that's pretty good. I like that. We're doing Zoom group right now. They go well, but I see your idea, casting the net wide. So I could definitely see that working. That's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely, man. Sorry, Chris, for hijacking your.
No. That's great, bro.
I have a lot of questions that I wanted based on what he said, and then also just being one day in. I don't know, Chris, if you got a chance to check my feed and my line to see if I'm doing, following the model the proper way. That's one question. Then the other question is, the other question is, as Aaron was just sharing, they're doing their broadcast. I mean, they're not meeting at the building. And I'm in Texas. We are on Sunday. We're doing our socials. But my question is, with this, because it is exciting, as Doug was saying, to see all these people come in and make comments and so on and so forth. Would a strategy be to bring them into the group versus trying to get them straight to the building? Or should we continue on, hey, what are you doing Sunday? Can you come to church? Because I'm still learning. I mean, it's just one day for me, so I'm still learning the system.
All right, so a couple of different questions in there, Rob. So I'll take a look. I've actually got your ManyChat account, so I can pull it up and take a look at, like, you've been sending the audio prayers so far?
I did. I had to think of a creative way to send the audio prayer because I didn't have that link. I don't know where it's at, where you can just record right from Facebook. It used to be there. I don't know where it is now. So I had to record on my phone and then copy it over to put the file, attach the file to it and do it that way.
Okay. What kind of phone do you have, Rob?
I have an Android +1.
Okay. So hang out after this, and we can see if we can find that on your phone. We'll just see if we can troubleshoot after the call here.
Okay.
So if you have time, just stick around. We'll see if we can do that here. But yes, I mean, so all your numbers look good so far. Looks like everything's rolling. That's the biggest thing, right? Was sending the audio prayers, and then once the plan your visits start getting in, typically, like I said, once you get about 30 days worth of data, it's typically about 10% of the people who submit prayer requests then go on to plan a visit, right? So as you're kind of getting started, especially once you get 30 days in, you'll look at, and if you've got 100 prayer requests, you'll probably have about 10 plan your visits. So just making sure to do the audio prayers, once a day. Like I said, we typically recommend doing it at the end of the day. It's kind of fun up front. Like if you want to do them in real time as they come in, no sweat. But eventually, that's really fun for like the first week, and then it starts to get kind of overwhelming, where like you're in the middle of something and it's like and you got prayer requests coming in. So we recommend doing that once a day at the end of the day, sending all those audio prayers, and then just calling the plan your visits within 15 minutes when they first come in.
Okay.
So you were talking about, I think one of your questions was, do you send them straight to the Facebook group instead of the church? Right? Was that one of your questions?
Yeah. I guess so they can watch the online ministry or.
So I would use that actually as a backup. I would invite them to church first, right? So if you're having physical services, I would invite them to church first, because there's a lot of people that are going to be ready to visit after they've connected with you, especially after you send the audio prayer. So invite them out to church. Then if they say either, man, no thanks, don't want to come to church, or man, some people, here's the weird thing. We don't want to snipe people from other churches.
Right.
But some people say, I've already got a church when they haven't been to that church in 3 years. Right. So like, sure. Like when I was growing up, like we had a church. We're like, oh yeah, Salem United Methodist. That's our church. We went once a year on Easter, and sometimes we missed Easter. Right. So like, it easily could be like 18 months to 2 years since we've been to that church, but that was our church. If anyone asks, like, give a church home, yeah, Salem, that's where we go. Like, and we were like, man, that's our church. Right. And it's just like, hey, they changed the pastor 2 years ago. Really? We didn't even know, but that's our church. Right. So, so if they say they have a church, I would still invite them to like a Facebook group or something like that. Just want to stay in touch, because some people could be a defense mechanism, right? Because they're afraid you're going to try to beat them over the head with the Bible. And then some people, they have a church, but they don't really, right? Like I wasn't saved. I didn't know who Jesus was. I just knew that we had a church that we went to that was super boring, and we had to sit through it once a year on Easter, right? Like, so for those people, I think just inviting them out to a Facebook group could be a great way to kind of get connected, whatever. It's like, hey, I'll tell you what, why don't you swing by the Facebook group? I go live in there. We've, and just having the conversations, like Aaron said, it's a great way to empower your volunteers. Right. So Nona Jones, who's a pastor and author, and she's over all of the faith-based partnerships at Facebook. So she speaks a lot of conferences and stuff, and it's really good. She says she recommends a Facebook group, be kind of like the living room of your church. Right. So like if these Facebook ads are kind of like the front porch, so to speak, where you're connecting with people for the very first time, it's their first connection point with you and with your church. All you're doing is, you're not inviting them upstairs or anything. You're just inviting them to come on into the living room to have a conversation. Right. So if they don't want to become part of the church, they don't want to come visit on Sunday morning, no problem. Say, I'll tell you what, why don't you come check out our Facebook group? We've got some great conversation in there. We kind of post, have some fun. I go live sometimes, right? If you have questions about the Bible or about God or just about life in general, feel free to, post them in the group, and we'd love to help. It's just a way to kind of invite them into a conversation with you, right? And that's kind of the living room of your church where conversation can happen and people kind of get to know a little bit of community going on. So there's awesome. And I'm gonna show you guys this. This is great for Instagram, but this is also great it's a great post for your Facebook page, but you could use this in your Facebook group as well, just to kind of start to get some engagement going. So I was on Brady Shear's Instagram earlier this week. Caleb and I were looking at this. I showed him yesterday because I was like, dude, this is brilliant. Let me share my screen real quick. And then, this will be the last thing we'll do, and then we'll wrap things up here. But okay, so if you guys don't follow Brady Shear, especially on Insta, he shares some really, really great stuff. So this right here is something he calls the draft social media post for churches. I love this, and I think it's a lot of fun. So basically, what he does is that, hey, with the first overall draft pick, right, you get to pick. And so with this one, it says you have the first overall pick in the LaCroix flavors draft. What are you taking, right? Top prospects: tangerine, lime, peach, pear, passion fruit, coconut, other. This is just the way, like, you're not talking theology, right? You're not talking about the rapture or anything like that. You're literally just saying, hey, what kind of LaCroix do you want, right? And so this is a great way to kind of get people talking. Here's another example that he shares right here. And again, that takes the focus off of your church's content and what you're doing and puts the spotlight on the congregation, right? So the post is just a springboard. The real content is the discussion that follows. Reading through the comments, right? So learning about other people in your church and then calling out their obviously wrong choices, right? I love this. So, somebody go and like, so he says on here, right? Bringing your church just a little bit closer when we need it most. And he says, waffle fries suck, by the way. Right. So somebody goes out there, you say, hey, you have the first overall pick in the fast food items draft. What are you taking? A double from In-N-Out, waffle fries from Chick-fil-A, French fries from McDonald's, chicken from Popeyes, or a chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A. This is great because everyone's going to go in there, right? And people say, oh, waffle fries, right? And then you're in there like, waffle fries suck. Are you kidding me? Right? Repent and be baptized and pick the In-N-Out burger. Let's go. But you're just having a fun conversation with people, going back and forth in the comments. And people who would never post if you said, like, what's your favorite scripture? right, will all of a sudden start responding to posts like this. So the other one, this is a good another one, right? Who makes the best fast food burger? I think we're all on the same page because we're all saved here. We all know that it's In-N-Out Burger, just in case anybody was wondering. That's the correct answer. And then this one, this is like next level. I don't know if you guys have seen these before, but this is awesome. Where you have $12 to spend, right? And you have to create the ultimate worship set, right? So you can only spend $12 and you have to pick out your set and kind of write it that way. I think that's fun. My favorite one that I've seen was college football. And so you had $12. You have to pick your college football quarterback, your college football coach, your stadium, and then your fan base. And you only had like $12 to spend, right? So if you want Nick Saban and Trevor Lawrence as your quarterback, then you're going to end up playing at like Tulsa Community College with the fans of Indiana, right? So it's pretty fun. But anyway, those kinds of things are pretty fun to do. Just to kind of get people talking. So those types of conversations, I think we've talked about it before, even posting something like true or false. And if you're going to do true or false, you need something that's going to be obviously controversial. So you wouldn't say like true or false, pepperoni is the best type of pizza, right? Because the majority of people are going to say that. So you need to say something like true or false, pineapple and ham pizza is the best type of pizza, right? Hawaiian is the best type of pizza. Everyone's going to go in there and be like, are you freaking kidding me? Hawaiian, right? If you're going to do cookies, you wouldn't say true or false, chocolate chip is the best, right? You'd say true or false, oatmeal raisin is the best type of cookie, right? And then everyone just go in there and say, oatmeal raisin sucks. What are you talking about, right? Like, why would you put raisins in your cookies? It just doesn't make sense. But again, it's just going to create a bunch of engagement and a bunch of people talking. So great free post to be able to put on your social media, both on Facebook and Instagram, but then also in your Facebook group, just to kind of get people talking and get people out of their shell and kind of engaging with you a little bit. All right, so man, let's do this. I don't like to for these to run more than 30 minutes because I know everybody has a lot of stuff to get to here. So let's do this. Rob, why don't you stick around? We'll see if we can solve that that phone thing for you. Aaron, if you got time, stick around too because we can connect here as well. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I missed a couple of questions here. Jay, I apologize. Has anyone done the online membership classes or anything on how to onboard someone virtually? Yeah. Well, Aaron talked about it, and Aaron actually talked about it a few months ago. Aaron, if I remember right, didn't you do a Zoom, like you did an online growth track, whatever, like a Saturday morning Zoom call for people that wanted to join your church, and you had like 8 or 10 people that ended up joining the church that had never actually been there in person. They'd just been watching the live stream.
Yeah, 12.
12. Okay. That's huge, man. Huge. All right. So maybe Aaron, if you're around next week, let's try to maybe we can unpack that a little bit. I know we talked about that months ago, but not everybody was there. Maybe let's try to kind of chat about that a little bit more next week if you're up for it.
Do it.
Okay.
Hey, Chris, do you mind if I stick around a little bit? I've got a few questions too.
Yeah, sure thing, man.
Okay.
Sure thing. All right. Well, class dismissed. For the rest of you guys, man, let me pray for you real quick, and then we'll get out of here. Doug, Rob, Aaron, you guys can stick around. So, God, I thank you for and what you're doing in the lives of every single person on this call, in their churches, their ministries. God, I pray that you would continue to give us creative ideas. God, help us to figure out how to innovate, right? Not just adaptation to the world the way that it is, but innovation, God, to be able to create things that we've never done, to reach people that we've never reached. God, I thank you just for bringing godly resources and leadership and people into every single church represented here. God, I pray that you would just help them to be tough. God, give them godly perseverance, Father, faith and patience. And God, I just thank you. We know that you're going to do exceedingly abundantly above and beyond all that we can ask or imagine. So God, we thank you. We love you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, perfect. We will see you guys next week here. Thanks for coming.